Hey everybody, this is Al with El Rey Collection. Hope everybody's doing well here. Today I've got some stuff, got a bunch of mail over here that we'll get to. But probably the most interesting thing is a cross from SGC to PSA. And before I open that, I'll just give a little bit of context of, for those who aren't completely familiar with how crosses work. So there's a few ways you can cross cards to from one grading company to another. So the highest risk slash highest reward way is to crack the slab. Of course, in doing so, you also potentially could damage the card. And you send it in and get a complete regrade with fresh eyes so that the new grading company is not polluted by the previous slab, so that's one way. That's highest risk, highest reward. And the other way is to send in the actual slab and you get to choose a minimum grade. And if you have a minimum grade, if they look at it through the plastic and they deem that it will at least get a minimum grade, then they will crack it themselves. They'll put it in their own slab and they will later to basically ascertain your card. So in doing so, you have to define a minimum grade or just say crack it and grade it yourselves if you don't want to run the risk of cracking a slab. So those are two different things. I've done both. I've done a crazy amount of SGC to PSA, and I'll tell you, when I actually submit the slabs themselves, I have about a 90 or so percent a chance of staying the grade or dropping a full grade. There's another probably about 7% where the minimum grade is not met. So I don't know how much it would have dropped, or I allowed them to drop more than a grade and a half, or there was an upgrade, but very few. I think like 1% or so is an upgrade when I submit the actual slabs. So when going into a crossing situation, when you're going to submit a slab, shoot, I thought maybe I'd have an SGC one around here, but I don't. Well, here's one. So if I take an SGC 5 and I send it into them, and I say I want a PSA 5, if it doesn't get that grade, they will just return this to me and charge me a grading fee. Fine. Okay, so I've lately been thinking of migrating some of what I consider the more important cards in the hobby from SGC holders to PSA holders. So that's what this particular order was. It was some of those cards that, typically vintage cards that don't have a large don't have a lot of of comps out there, but I still think are important. Man, the way that they tape these things is insane. Um, still really important cards for the hobby, and I didn't really want to. I've cracked a few with pretty good results so far, but on these particular cards, for whatever reason, I didn't want to crack them myself. Um, so I submitted in total. This is in order of. Let me see if I get the exact number. 10 cards, and I submitted. Now, these cards, once we can get into this, included, some of the ones you probably saw on the splash art, the famous Sindelar rookie card, the Greeling. It included the Kubala, Laszlo Kubala, the Laszlo Kubala rookie card, and it included a Tatty Steve Bloomer. It included the John Sinclair Bloomer. It included a Dixie Dean rookie, and it included a Freed rookie, or at least what the earliest card I think that's been graded, which is the dollar. So again, these are some pretty important cards to the hobby, and I will, assuming I can get into this dang box, which, by the way, I appreciate that it's so hard to get into. So nobody peeking at it, but see if I can just rip the hell out of it. Okay. And if you guys have any comments here, let me switch over to the comments side. You can let me know, what you think. I mean, I really oscillated back and forth about which to crack these myself and send them in. But actually, in the end, I decided that if the minimum grade, and in most cases, I allowed PSA to put a grade down, which is what they almost always do. I mean, there's this confirmation bias everywhere. We're the best graders. We're better than SGC, so therefore our grade is going to be one less. And it was important enough for me to try to get some of these in PSA holders. And there were cards that they just started grading, so I decided I was going to give it a shot. Let's see, how I did. I know for a fact that some of these did not hit the minimum grade. I just don't know off the top of my head how many. Okay, so let's get these out. All right. Oh, and then this one says cards inside, so I'm not exactly sure. Uh-oh, what does that mean? Did they crack my... They weren't supposed to crack them, were they? Oh. Okay, so here are the other ones. Okay, so... Okay, I'm a little perplexed right now because I have some things that say cards inside, which scares me. All right, so here, let's go and let's see what we had, and we'll see this together. So the very first one is the 1946-47 Kubala rookie card by a long shot. This is the Nanita. Beautiful card. This was a PSA, an SGC 5, and I said that I would take up to a 4 on this, and it came back a 4.5. So slightly higher, but still less than SGC. And, I don't love it, but this is what has happened to me, 90+% of the time. I fully expected that. And they have the HC on here, which they should, because it's hand cut. So here is the Nanina. Yeah, I know and this is exactly why you use this service, because what Zach is saying, he's too nervous to crack anything myself. I get it. It's really hard to to take those pliers and crack. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, and you can damage the card. So, in cases where like these cards, I just didn't want to take the risk, and I knew that I'd probably get a lower grade, but I thought they had enough rarity that that would kind of be overseen. So again, everyone's got to make these calls themselves to decide if it's worth it to them to do that. And then Sports Card Harry here is asking, how does PSA crack the slabs? So two things. Number one, I don't know exactly how they crack it, but for me, when I've cracked slabs, you just take some pliers and you cut right here on the corner. There's some YouTube videos on it, but you cut right here, and then you use a screwdriver in between the seal here, and you slowly pry it up. And as soon as you pry it up enough, the top pops off, and then you'll have a card here, and you can immediately flip it in and put it in another penny sleeve and a card saver. So this one looks pretty good. I like the way they did it. It doesn't move. So this is nice. And then actually the second part of Sport Cards Harry question, what happens if they damage it? If they actually have deemed it, for instance, to be a 7 and they damage it taking it out, they'll actually compensate you for, if it ends up being a 4, they'll compensate you for the difference between a 4 and a 7. So those are some good, reasons. If you lack the confidence to crack out the cards, or you just feel like certain ones are too much risk, then don't do it. So here is the Nanina, and that one crossed. I guess we're going to go 1 for 1. By the way, it still has a little bit of Newton's ring, so they don't have the new sticker holders out, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. Okay, one that did not cross is, let me take this down because I think we answered. Sport Card Harry, let me know if I didn't answer your question. So here is a Greeling Sindelar rookie. This was graded a 3, and I had asked them that I would take a minimum grade of a 2.5, and they declined a 2.5, even though I think it's a pretty strong copy. And they may have thought it was a 2, and I'm like, you know what? To me, this is at least a 2.5. And they took my $150 and they, cashed that check. Hopefully, they're paying their employees well. Okay, so that was one that was not hit the minimum grade, and so I have a Sindelar rookie in a SGC 3, not a PSA 5. Okay, the next one that did cross was a 1907 Taddy & Co. Prominent Footballers, Steve Bloomer. So this was an original SGC 7, and I said I would take a 1 grade demotion, and a 1 grade demotion, shockingly, is what I got. Again, you got to go in with the expectations of when you say you're going to take a minimum grade, it almost always seems like that's the grade you get. So at least in my cases, and I have crossed more than 500 cards from SGC to PSA. So the next one that did not cross was this is interesting. This is actually in 1961-62 Estrellas dos Estadios by and it was an SGC 3.5. Now SGC rated this a 3.5, and I said that I would take a 3, and we got no takers from PSA. I wonder if I would have put a 2.5. What would have happened, but I got a 3.5 and no takers, so that's staying in an SGC holder as a 3.5. Oh man, I hate when this happens. So this next one is a John Sinclair 1908 Steve Bloomer, and it was an SGC 5.5, and I said, please cross it to a 5. And it got a 5, but you can again see that such a precious card is just floating around. And the weird thing to me is these are just normal size tobacco cards. So, I mean, it's just a floater, such an important card. And it's a floater. So I gotta, oh man, it's just so frustrating when this happens. And it seems to happen here. That hit maybe is a little bit better, but I'm just so looking forward to the improved holders from PSA. So that one did go from a SGC 5.5 to a PSA 5. So that goes in there. And then the next one that did not cross was this 1925 Dixie Dean rookie, which is an SGC 5, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the highest graded Dixie Dean rookie. And this was a PSA 5. And I said an SGC 5, and I said I would take an SGC 4. So they did not even think this was a 4. And, maybe the reason why is there's this slight foxing on the back. And I also wondered if that was a reason that, number one, that it got a 5 because the corners are so sharp on this. And then number two, what they would think. So in the end, they thought that probably knocked it down to a 3 or something. And so I'll take the SGC 5 and I will be fine with that. The next one, I had 2 of these in the shipment. This one used to be an SGC 6, and this now is the Sindelar, and it came back a PSA 5. And I had said that my minimum grade on this was a PSA 5, and they took my minimum grade and they slabbed it. Again, kind of sloppy looking holder from PSA with these, bumpers. They're crooked, so they're not like straight on, and they're not the same size in each one of them. It looks like clumps of glue. I mean, I was really hoping that the sticker holders would be done, and this is actually a card. But anyway, one of my favorite cards of all time. Hopefully, at some point, we'll get this holder thing settled, and we'll put some of these cards in nicer PSA holders once they figure that out. All right. So we've got 3 cards left. So we're basically right now 50-50 in cards where I told I told PSA, if you give me, in general, sometimes it's been a half grade. Let me see. Yeah, half grade. So a couple times I did a half grade and other times I did a full grade. So in all 10 cases, I either did a half grade or a full grade, saying, hey, PSA, take my SGC grade, give me a half grade or a full grade down, and I'm fine crossing it to PSA. And in 1, 2, 3 cases, they said no so far. And 1, 2, 3, 4, they said yes. So here's the 4th one. They say no. Here's the free dollar. This is an SGC 3. And I said I would take a 2.5. And they said no. So this probably meant that they see this as a 2. So that is a no on their end. I think this has got one of the most gorgeous fronts you'll ever see on not just this card, but any dollar card. So I still think this is the nicest free dollar that I've ever held, and I've held about 5 of them. So that's still number 1 on my list, and that's the end of the ones that didn't cross over. So I've got 2 more that did cross over. This one is, let's see what this one was. Okay, so this one was an SGC 2.5. This is a famous Tingles Leonidas da Silva. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to go back because it's so funny because I agree with this as well. This is Brad's comment. This dollar is a 10. I mean, if you know dollar cards and you see the corners here and the colors, it's just really, really, really solid. But you know what? I'll keep it in SGC. Thanks, Brad. I'll keep that in SGC 3 if PSA doesn't want to give me at least a 2.5. But this one, I love this set, Tingle set. I noticed a lot of people are taking more of an interest in this set, 1950 World Cup. This is actually an add-on to the set because the São Paulo team made a trip to Sweden and toured, and he wasn't on the World Cup team for Brazil in 1950, but he later made a trip to Sweden, and they played as the São Paulo club, which is one of his last teams. And this is a blank back version. You can see some of the bleed through from the ink on the front. And SGC had this as a 2.5, and PSA, I had a minimum grade of a 2, and that's exactly what we got, a 2. And unfortunately, another flying sticker. Oh man, I hate to do this, but it's like up against the edges, getting damaged. All I wanted is not to get damaged, and so move it away from those bumpers. And there's a slight crease right across. You can see this line. Now maybe you can't because of the reflection right here, but unbelievably colors, super, super hard to find. The São Paulo team and the Team USA are the most difficult, probably followed by Italy. And so Zach is asking if they started grading the Tingles. Yes, I don't know exactly when. It wasn't me. I didn't supply the information to grade Tingles, but yes, they are. And I'm very excited about this because I think it is a super important set for soccer. It has many, it has Sara from Spain. There I go. I centered it. It's just terrible that we got to be banging around on these slabs to center them. So and I'm not. I mean, I guess I am to a certain extent picking on PSA because they've had so long to fix this problem, and clearly it's not a huge priority to them. This is the Tingle set is amazing. You got Sara, you've got Schiaffino and Gia. On Uruguay, you have Zaire, Zazinho. On Brazil, Ademir. On Brazil, you've got the whole Team USA that beat England 1-0. You got Leonidas. It's just a great set. And then you have the entire Swedish team, which was great. Okay, so the last one on the cross was also did cross. And this one, why can't I find it on here? Oh, here it is. 1905, Singleton and Cole, Steve Bloomer. One of my favorite cards of his. Again, these are standard tobacco cards, and I'm floating around in the dang holder is just frustrating as hell. Love the back on this. Check this out. So that's nice, if not crooked. And this one is was an SGC 1.5, and just switching into a PSA holder as a PSA 1. So again, we're gonna have to try to do some. Unfortunately, I have a lot of experience knowing where to hit the slab to center it out. There you go. I just fixed PSA's slabbing there. Yeah, so yeah, this is one of my favorites. Yeah, and this is not to pile on, but Brad's like, how can they allow these to float this bad? I mean, I just don't get it either. I mean, and this order is at $150 a card, right? So even these that didn't cross, that's $600 there, where they just looked at them and said, no, fine, you can keep my $600. On these, okay, it was $150 a card. They all took downgrades, and pretty much all of them float. Let's go back and see. Okay, so this one seems more secure for whatever reason. And then this one, they have a holder that hits perfectly. So actually here. So yeah, hey, thanks, Fisher Karma. So I actually sent in total here, I sent 3 bloomers and they all crossed. So the amazing Tatty went from a 7 to a 6. Nice holder on this one. The crazy cool Sinclair, super rare with the, so look at that back. I mean, do backs get any more sexy than this? Right? Went from a 5.5 to a 5, but this is a floater. And then the Singleton and Cole went from a 1.5 to a 1. And again, it's a floater. Cool back on this one too. So these are 3 of my favorite bloomers. I had them in SGC holders, and I just felt like I would feel better long term for them to be in PSA holders. I did not know they would float as much as they do, and in which case I may have not sent them over yet. But it is what it is. Yeah, they all, at least, well, this one doesn't on the bloomers. So, you know, Brad's saying they all float. The bloomer, this one is like really tight in there in a traditional holder. But these 2 bad boys, which are probably 2 of the more important ones in my eyes after the Tatty, I'd say these are the 3 to me. They do float. So anyway, so we've got the bloomers crossed, the Lazo Kubala crossed, and this was a half grade demotion on that one. The Leonidas crossed, that was a half grade demotion, and the Sindelar rookie went from a 6 to a 5, which is still just an epic grade. So that's a full grade deduction. So the ones that did cross took deductions. Again, I will tell you, if you're going to cross, do not expect upgrades. The best case scenario, in my experience of having crossed 500 cards from SGC to PSA, is that in the best case, you'll get the same grade that you have. And that's a home run. Like I have a few, literally a handful, where they have said, okay, this is a higher grade than what the other grading company had when submitted like this. If you crack it, much different scenario. I should probably run the stats on that, but I'm going to guess I'm about 30 to 35% upgrades from one to another. Okay. So your question is, okay, why did you not just crack these and send them in? Well, to me, like, let's take the case of this Dixie Dean. I think this is the highest graded SGC Dixie Dean. So that's not a bad case. If I crack it and I send it back to SGC, I may get a different grade. I don't know, if it's cracked. So I just felt like it was too much risk for me to send this. I think this is also the highest graded free across the network, meaning all graders. And to me, also the best eye appeal. So I just didn't feel like that was worth the risk for me. This one, I wanted something higher than I put 2.5. What did I put? No, I put 3. I probably should have put 2.5. I wanted something to show it was never stuck. And that was probably my fault because they probably would have graded it, I'm guessing, a 2.5. And then this one I just thought was a 3 and I wanted the same grade. And if they were going to give me something less, I didn't want to take it. So these, I got 4 no-goes. It still cost me $600 to have them look at this. So just keep that in mind. It's not an inexpensive process. And, while I did get 6 that crossed over, all of them came at a half to full grade down. Let me go. This one was a half. This one was a half. This one was a full. This one was a full. This one was a half. And this one was a half. So I got 2 full grade decreases in 10 and 4 half grade decreases in that crossover. I'd say it's kind of what I expected. I think I'd say that I hoped for a little bit better, but it's kind of what I expected. What I didn't expect is the stickers to float after $1,500 to look at 10 cards. That is a bit of a downer to me, but stories for other days. Let me just catch up here on some of the thing. I wish I took proper care. Yes, I know. This is exactly, I 100% agree. And I think most people on this thing will agree that that's probably the single most frustrating thing. There's two things that are still going on, floating items in PSA holders, iconic, important things in the hobby. And, I think just the fakes, which frankly, I think PSA is probably doing as about as good a job as anybody on the fakes. Those are the two things right now that still are super annoying me about the hobby. Thanks for the comment here. Thanks for all the comments here, Fisher Karma. Appreciate it. And as well, Zach and Brad and Sports Card Harry. Thanks, everybody, for first of all joining in on short notice. Check out these cards. That's great. Beautiful bloomers. Huge fan. Yes, me too. Those are some of my favorite bloomers, without a doubt. So, and that's I decided to move those into PSA. So, if anybody has any questions on the cross, you can ask now or ask later. I'm going to start now the second part of this video, which is kind of mail day, and so you can kind of see what I've been getting. I think a lot of people know that recently the sticker albums come out. Yeah, hey, thanks, Zach. Really appreciate it. I think a lot of people know that the World Cup sticker albums are out. These little guys. This is a little 5-card pack that they sell at Target. Really kind of fun. I haven't seen any boxes in my local Targets or Walgreens or anything, but it's been fun. And so I decided for a few key players, I wanted to get some of these parallels that are issued in the U.S. markets, which come in. There's a number of different ones. There's a black 1 of 1, which is basically impossible, right? Somebody's going to get it. Hopefully they don't stick it to the album. Hey, thanks. Oh, yes. Regards from Brazil. Thank you. Jose Roberto Nines. Always great to see you make the time on here. So there's I'm trying to get some of these parallels, which I think are quite fun, that are U.S. market only. I'm pretty close, is maybe a stretch, but I'm close on the gold. I'm making a gold set, which is the USA only direct from Panini set. So I'm actually making huge progress there. And then I am considering getting some doing a blue set, and as well as some of the parallels. Here's a CR7 red and a messy blue. So these were in pretty nice shape. A lot of these coming out of the packs, and I think you guys will know, but I'll just crack one here while we're talking. These are tough. You can damage the stickers coming out of these packs super easily. Let me just show you what I mean. So the way that I've been opening them is I come down the side here, then I come down the side here, and then I come down the side here, and then hopefully one of these gets close enough to break so that I can do this and peel away the front and not mess with the corners, because if you pull too hard, you're going to bend the corners, and that's an automatic too. Let's see if we got anybody. Well, we got a blue, but nothing, which is in a 670 card set. That's the status quo. You're going to get pretty much nothing in these. If you don't believe me, this is one of my favorite cards to show. Here's my PSA 2 Messi, that if you look at the corners and you measure it, it looks like absolutely unbelievable. You look at the back, absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, there's some, surface damage, a surface bend in it. So there you go. That's what you're going to get if you're not careful opening those World Cup stickers, which is why it's, super important to be careful when you're opening. Oh, look at this. So here's a Carlos Pucel. For those of you who stayed in the video this long and are vintage guys, our Carlos Pucel, I think it's 1932, Chocolates Phoenix. Super crazy, sick, rare card. Again, awesome. or Puseye if if you speak Spanish. Okay, so I did a few of my mail days are going to have some of these. A few of my things are going to have some of these stickers in them. And yeah, thank you. That was thanks, Graham. Yeah, that's a super tough card. So oh, you know what? I forgot to see what was in this. This said card inside. So oh, and so it wasn't really cards. These were nice enough that they included the on the PSA things. They would say, you know, here's the dollar. The minimum grade wasn't met, so they return it. The Dixie Dean, minimum grade not met, so they return it. Eusebio, minimum grade not met, so they return it. And last but not least, Sindelar Greeling. So those were the four that goes with them. And then they nicely return these. Well, here's the Sinclair. Because what I do with these is I actually put the card. Well, here I'll just instead of just showing you, I mean, instead of just telling you, I'll show you what I do. So here's a Sindelar, since that one's sitting right here. And so I say, all right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put the SGC grade on the back. I'm not going to tape it or anything. I'm just going to put it right here on the back. And then I'm going to get one of these SGC sleeves. I mean, PSA, you know, sleeves that are made for the PSA cards. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to slide it down into the slab. So I'll actually scan these before, but so I have this slab in a 5, but I'll remember that SGC graded it a 6. So in a way, it's like double graded. And I think that instead of just throwing these away or asking or sending them an SGC to have them decrease the pop report, I'll know that this 5 is the SGC 6, which is the highest one in the pop report. So that's something that I do because a lot of these cards are really tough. And PSA is always nice enough to return your sticker, your labels to you, so you can either send them back to SGC to have them take them off the pop report, or you can do what I'm doing. I prefer to do the second one, but it's probably better for the hobby if you send them back to SGC and ask them to take them off the pop report. All right, sorry for that side step here. So the next one, again, I have no idea what's in these things, so sorry if they're, you know, uninteresting to the vast, you know, majority of you. I mean, all those heavy hitters were some of these elite hobby cards that we just went through. Always make sure things are empty before tossing them. And feel free to, as I'm opening this mail day, feel free to just you know, shoot me a question so I'll have something to talk about. See here. All right, this one's going. Okay, so we got Paul had something to see, and sorry, I have to click and then read it because I trying to do a few things at once. Feels like a conversation with X. Like, yeah, can you take these off the pop report? Yeah. Okay, so I'm not gonna go there. But yes. Let's see. You know, you're always unsure what you're going to get in these mail days, the packaging. And here we go. So again, more World Cup stickers. The purple variation, this one comes to 200 packs. And then there's a few blues in here as well. So again, I've been getting a few of those, trying to get probably up to green on a few of the key players for me. You know, just one copy. I think it's fun kind of chase. These are fun packs to open. I've already opened hundreds and hundreds of packs, and it's something that my family always does as we get into the World Cup time. And so we're just continuing to do it this year. And then, oh, here's another one. So this is actually, I think, and I mean, is he going to be is son going to be one of the greatest players ever? No. But he is a great player, and for his country, he will be one of the more memorable players ever. So this is, or at least for this generation, and this is a green one, which I think is important. It's going to be nice to see. I'm rooting for Korea in the World Cup. Hey, Seb, how you doing? Yeah, I don't know how I posted it on the vintage thing. But just for you, since you're the man, you're the grinder, I'll show you some quick review. Greenling Cinderlair, PSA 6 now, Taddy, Kubala, rookie, Leonidas, Tingles, and then another couple bloomers, Singleton and Cole and Sinclair. Those are the ones that crossed. Other ones that did not was a Dixie Dean rookie, Freed, a Eusebio, and then another Cinderella rookie. So there, I just caught you up, or you can go back and watch it later. So I have not found a 1920s Fangio, Fangio, but there's maybe something in these boxes. So stay tuned. Let's see what else. I thought I had a few other little stragglers. Maybe those will come in while we're tracking, because there's supposed to be DHL. Maybe my wife just left it outside. So this is, again, my mail over this period has been more World Cup stickers, just because I have been focused on that, trying to build those sets. It takes a lot of time. But it's something that I really enjoy, and just, keep those sets. And it's truly a collector's. There's not a hugely negative ROI and that stuff. I think, to go out and buy a bunch of boxes and rip them, unless you get exceedingly lucky, which by definition means you're going to have a low ROI. Because if you need to get lucky to do well, low ROI. So this particular one is, I don't remember, story of my life. I'm sure you guys all have the same thing. All of us addicted collectors. So I do that kind of for drama, just throw it when I'm not doing a live. I don't throw things on the floor. All right, let me see. Yes, question, and this is actually kind of important, and I don't know if you guys do this, but do you know my place? Yes, my postman Joe is an awesome guy. I know his whole life story. I buy him lunch. I tip him every year. I give him Christmas gifts. He is a crucially important man in my life, and one that I need to trust. And he is absolutely great. In fact, the only problems I ever have is when he's on vacation and someone's doing his route. And but he is awesome. He takes care of my stuff. He makes sure that it is always. He's very interested in all the stuff that comes internationally. He himself is from Africa, but he's awesome. So he gets candy bars and lunch dates and tips, because he's super important dude, and not everyone who works for USPS is as conscientious as he is. The next one, have you ever had a car lost in the mail? It was a tough loss. Okay, so there are a few things that have been lost in my collection, and again, this is when Joe was on vacation, getting delivered to the wrong houses, which then said that they never got things. But in total, it's literally hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars. So I'm pretty happy with my overall result. And I also have insurance for shipments, so that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. And the deductible is higher than my losses have been. So given the amount of dollar value that I've transacted through DHL FedEx and the USPS, my losses are incredibly minimal. So I'm very thankful to that, and my local post office in the Isle of Palms, which is great. So yes. So the here is this is these are super fun. Well, this is actually these are some 1964. You guys mostly know that I collect some boxing, and these are from 1964. So this is close enough. Here's a Jesse Owens. He's an older man right at this particular point. And then this one is Joe Louis. Or I mean Joe Frazier, sorry. Down goes Frazier. Also one of his rookies. So this is kind of a cool set. PSA grades those. So that's cool. And then I got a bunch of cool Peruvian cards. This one comes from this 1970 market from the Peruvian version. This is a supermarkets one. There's a similar one, Aurora from Mexico, and then there's another one from a third country. Is it Uruguay? But these are really cool because they have different photos than the standard 1970 ones. So I like those. Here's a Beckenbauer. There's actually more in here. There's like a little stack of them. I won't take those out unless you guys are super interested. And then here's the Cubillas rookies. Oh man, I love this. This is so awesome. So this is in his club uniform. So this is just great. Love that. Super. I mean, in my mind, here's where he's in the national uniform. The seleccionado. I mean, just beautiful. They'll remove. So these are going to grade a 1, but what eye appeal. And then I just picked up a bunch of other Peruvian stars as well. From this album. I think you guys probably know. This, and then in this album there are smaller cards, and then there are these longer cards. So this is the name of this set. Is I think it's called Ídolos Peruanos. Yeah, 69 Ídolos de Fútbol Peruano. Here's look at this one. I think this is my second copy of that. So yeah, these are just super fun and hardish to find. I mean, there's not a lot of people digging in Peru, but just some really fun, semi-stars, Peruvian stars, and what was really the golden generation. They won the Copa America, I think, in 75. That team did, which is mostly filled with these guys, and these are their early rookie cards. Look at Didi was their coach. That's kind of fun too, right? So that's super fun. And then here was a pack, which is from the set. So you could, I mean, I try to pick up these very interesting packs, and this was a pack, and that's just awesome. So loving all this Peruvian stuff. Not common. I mean, that's one of the things I love about the hobby is just the diversity, the craziness, finding albums, going out there, doing the grind. I don't have as much time as I used to. So right now I'm mostly buying off people doing the grind. But I just love, I have, 10 years of grinding, and, whatever grinding I can do, you just find stuff that's new every single week. I get things that are new, and they could be, $30 cards or, $20 cards, or they could be, many thousands of dollars. But, the joy is just amazing that you get out of that. So, I thought I had a couple more, but I'm winding down here on my packages. Not sure. We got a bunch of people out there. Yeah. And this is exactly, I mean, Seb is like one of the master grinders. He gets major props for, all the, shit that he finds. And it's just so true. There's so much good stuff to find out there. Just get on all these local sites, spend, hours, get on your Google Translate, start making relationships with people. And that's where you're going to find stuff. I mean, doing well. I know there's a lot of channels that focus on investment, but I don't know if it may have been Seb or Tom or somebody who's saying, look, at the best way you can get you can have the best investment in soccer cards is by making sure your entry price is right. And the best way to do that is to get in the grind, get people, in Italy and Brazil, either trade or buy from them, establish a level of confidence where you get to see things, that before they go on eBay, where you can, if it's something unique that fits into your collection, you can stretch for it. um so that's just my general reaction is go out there and do it. I mean, look at who we just had join here. I mean, this guy's fucking awesome. So we got the champ, is here. He's late, but he's here, and the champ just needs to be standing up in the last rounds, because that's where he gets his W. But he went out and found the Valderrama rookie. That was something close to his heart, and he grinded and grinded and grinded and finally found it. So, I think that there's so many examples of people that are on this live and people that are on our Discord. If you are not on our Discord, I'll post, if you're watching this afterwards, I'll post the link to the Discord, the Vintage Soccer Discord. Great place to share ideas, meet people. You can buy and sell and trade and everything on there, and you without eBay fees or auction house fees, and you can ask for guidance. So please check us out there. That was a lot of packaging, and if I'm not wrong, there is only one item in here, so it's a big box for one item. Yes. And so I am happy to we got to hail. Look at the champ's late, but Seb is hailing the king there. I usually go El Rey, which is the king, but I'm kind of feeling maybe I need to change my name in honor of the champ, because he wears that crown so well, So so I think that there's just so much stuff out there. That and there's so much stuff for all collectors. There's just, and everybody should collect differently, and hope you guys have been enjoying the collection. Sometimes it's hard to keep the faith and love collecting if in a down market, especially if you just paid X more than what the market currently is. And I'll just tell you from if you're a collector, if you're a flipper, hey, that's a cost of doing business, right? But if you're a collector, just hold the faith. Don't forget the enjoyment you get out of the process, and just focus on that, because that is that's where you're part of the utility. It's not just the price that you pay. All right, so here is I think some of you guys will probably laugh immediately. So here's a Fangio from Argentina. Yeah, you're right. See, and then you end up getting, you associate Valderrama with the champ every time you see his card, right? And that's just the way that it should be. And so I'd like all of you to associate Fangio with me, and then send all his cards of his that you find over to my house. That would be much appreciated, especially Argentine issues. So I'd love to get some of those. And this is a nice Argentine issue, which are super hard to find in any grade. And to see this one that had the back that was fully intact with the printing was just amazing. So shout out to a friend, you know who you are, on the Discord. Again, actually, now just looking at this stuff, half of it comes from people on the Discord. So if you're not on the Discord, please get there, get to know people. Lots of very active community of people trying to learn more, find things, find out things, crowd share knowledge, and just perpetuate the hobby that we all love. And so, Seb, yeah, you knew. I bet you knew it. I didn't respond there, but yeah, this is just fit in too well to let it sit there. So, yeah, so that was a good one. Happy to have that. And I was hoping to get the DHL. Let me I just wanted to show a couple of you who don't see the premium shows that Bill and I do on the Discord on Thursday night. I wanted to show people what the eBay authentication process works. I've gotten a couple questions about it, and I just figured it was easier to show here. If you know about this, log off. But so I got this package from eBay, really thick cardboard, very, very thick mailer. Had my address label here. I took it off. But then you slit this down and you open it up here. And what you do is you get this really nice thing here. It's a very, very sturdy cardboard, really hard cardboard. It has a magnetic seal on it. So you have to apply a lot of pressure to get the magnet off. And then underneath it says, collect, trade, repeat. Your collection is now upgraded. And so what you do then is you flip this out, and then they have this thing that talks about authenticity without a doubt. They have this scanner on the card. And so this is a raw card that I bought. Again, familiar. It's the a World Cup sticker. One of the parallels, Mbappe. And so it's like in these elastics here. It has a QR code on the back you can scan, and they authenticate it, void if damaged. And this was a $50 sticker. And this packaging, and then they remailed it. This is an expensive process. And honestly, to my eyes, completely unnecessary for this particular sticker. But for whatever reason, maybe the seller didn't have. And my stuff, when I sell, which I have 3,000 plus, nearly 4,000 transactions on eBay, my stuff is not going to one of these. So it may be because of amount of feedback or whatever, but this is a high quality process. I will say that. And right now it's entirely free. I can't imagine this can stay free for very long, given the quality of shipping materials and the book. But that's kind of what this authentication process is. Still not a super fan of it, but I got to tell you, when you get it, it feels like you're opening a dang iPhone. It's surprisingly cool, feeling of opening it up, and it's like it's a dang sticker. So it is what it is, boys and girls. So a couple people had asked about what the eBay authentication process is. This is it, and that was kind of the last thing that I had. Let me check to see if there's any comments or questions. I'll be here for a second. Actually, you know what? If you guys just hang on for 1 second, I'll run out here and see if that DHL arrived. And if it did, we'll get one more package. And if not, we'll call it a day. If you got any other questions, put them down there. Well, sorry guys, it didn't arrive. It said before 8. I guess that still gives them an hour. Let me see if there are any other questions while we were here. I know, right? It wasn't anything super exciting, Doug. It was some stuff from Argentina, but it's love my Argentine stuff, as most of you know who follow my collection. Just find that stuff super hard, but again, I'll show for those of you who didn't see this. This is a Chocolate Phoenix, Carlos Pusey, or Pucel, what we'd say in English. Awesome. I think 1932. So I just happen to have this one laying around. I don't know if there's other stuff I can show that I have just laying around here. Some Copes clips. Sam Hardy, awesome, defender. Nobody talks much about him. Vivian Woodward. Some Copes clips. Love these, these Solace cards. So anyway, this is just a stack. I had them up here to scan. So I'll just show you guys some of this. Jimmy Quinn. Here's a Bob Crompton. Totally underrated Blackburn superstar in a 4. Love the blue color on these Copes clips. Look at those. This is a 500. I noticed that the 500 series of these tend to be have that bluer, that deeper blue, which I prefer. Here's a series 282. That you notice a more pale blue. Here's a comparison for you. I guess my computer also has different colors, but you can clearly see that the Crompton is a deeper color blue. So um all right. Well, so we got yes, thank you, Sports Cards Harry. Thanks so much. Glad you enjoyed it. And let me see if I got any other comments here. Yeah, hey, you guys, please also, if you can give me a like on the video. I don't even know how that works on lives, but if you can do that, I don't really do a great job of promoting all my videos, but I think that evidently helps like the algorithm and gets the word out, and if it helps the hobby, it helps us all. So if you can give me a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. You know Tell your friends. I think I'm close to 1,000 followers now, which is pretty awesome. Really, thank you guys for putting up with my disorganization. But certainly, please like the video, share it, subscribe. We'll see you on the Discord. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, and have a great evening. Really appreciated it, everybody, and take care. Keep collecting. See ya.